Welcome to the Virtual Entrepreneurship Center. This particular project is a collaborative between Alabama A&M up in Huntsville, Alabama, Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama, and Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. My name is Dr. Keenan Grinnell. I am CEO of Global Capital Group, LLC, out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And right now, I have as my guest Attorney Robert Frye. And so welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit and talk with me. And we're going to be talking to Attorney Frye about protecting your small business interests. But before we delve into that topical area, Attorney Frye, tell me a little something about yourself. Your background, where you come from, why the legal career, and currently, sort of what's your specialty, within that particular field.
Certainly, thank you very much. I'm originally from Cuba. I immigrated to the United States in 1962. I knew no English when I arrived in this country. Obviously, I learned quite a lot since then. Basically lived in the Southeast, predominantly part of my life. I got interested in law simply because I didn't want to be a doctor like my father. And I eventually went to law school. I did my undergraduate degree at Auburn University.
War Eagle.
Thank you. And I did got my legal education at Mercer University in Macon.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a licensed attorney in the state of Georgia for 31 years. I primarily practiced in the area of liability and workers' compensation during that period of time.
Okay. With that in mind, walk us through the significant importance of, the whole arena of liability and even the larger arena of protecting your small business interests. Why don't we start off with the liability pieces?
Certainly. Liability from a business perspective is trying to have insurance that would protect you from any damage that your business might do to whether it's a customer or anyone that you might provide a service for or a product for. So that would do is protect your assets from anyone who may bring a lawsuit for those damages that maybe your business or your service may have done to them. The best way to do that would be certainly to purchase some type of general liability insurance that would cover certain things that if you, let's say, produce a product, if that would cause a harm or damage to someone. You would also consider automobile liability insurance through the general liability policy in the event that if you have a business where you are delivering products, goods, or services, and one of your employees is involved in an automobile collision of some sort and, again, injures someone, that you would have not only your property that may have been damaged as well, whether it be a truck or the actual goods that you were transporting, but any individual and an individual's property that may have been injured or damaged in the collision that may have ensued. So by having that type of insurance, it would give you that safeguard that you would have that protection in case something like that would happen.
What's the percentage of entrepreneurs, and just based on your 31 years of being in the profession, what percentage of entrepreneurs don't have a clue that that's important, to them, as they get ready to launch a venture, or say, for instance, someone who's already been in business for a while and didn't have the foggiest idea that, my goodness, I need to be seeking out liability insurance. What's percentage of, the entrepreneurial world don't quite get this?
I'm not quite certain what that percentage might be, but I think that any individual that is thinking about going into business for themselves in whatever capacity should look at all the ramifications of what that business that they're going into might have. Certainly most people want to put a product or a service out for the public and consumption, but by the same time you also want to protect your assets of that business that you're working so hard to establish. So that would certainly be one of the first things that I would look at in order to protect myself if I were going into business.
You've heard of the old adage, you can pay me now or you can pay me later. What has been your experience in terms of, having to deal with clients after the fact because they didn't have, that as a safeguard? What's been lost, if you don't mind my asking? I know I'm not asking you to go into any real client, attorney privilege information, but I mean, in a general, sense, what's been lost maybe by some individuals?
Well, I think most people that I've represented that I've defended cases that have been filed against them or their businesses has been that they are grateful that they do have that insurance to cover those eventualities that could happen. And it usually, comes in the sense when they get served with some type of legal papers from whoever it might be that was injured or damaged in a particular situation. So it's very comforting to have that security that you have, that insurance behind you. When you do purchase insurance in that way, typically the insurance carrier, as part of your contract agreement, will provide you with a legal defense for whatever lawsuit or legal action may be brought against you or your company.
So that's part of the policy.
It is, and so you're paying for all that. All you have to do is basically cooperate with the insurance carrier, and they will defend your case to your policy limits. And those are considerations that you need to discuss, let's say, or think about for whatever type of product or service that you're trying to provide. There are certain products and services that may have more inherent risks than others, because the riskier the business or the product that a person might have, obviously an insurance carrier is going to charge more as their premium because of the higher risk involved, as opposed to a lower risk. Now, the other thing that I also deal with is workers' compensation insurance. And that goes to protect not only the workers that you employ in your business, but it also protects your business as well. Most states have, by statute, requirements that certain businesses that have a certain amount of employees must maintain workers' compensation insurance.
Okay. If you were advising an entrepreneur right now in terms of the best case scenario, what's that ideal piece of coverage, coverage pieces that you would recommend? And then the next question is, what's a good, well, I don't want you to give them the name of any carriers, but what do they need to be looking for in carriers?
As far as the insurance that any individual that's starting a business, certainly liability, general liability insurance, and workers' compensation, if they are going to have a significant amount of employees, or if they're going to have the statutory number of employees that that state requires. Most people probably that are starting a business may be just employing themselves or a few individuals, but those certainly would be two that they need to consider. As far as carriers that would have that policy, most of the bigger carriers that you're common with that provide automobile insurance coverage typically also provide these other products that cover the different types of insurance needs that a small business owner would need to operate their business.
One of the things that's kind of unique about this project is that while we will have, would-be entrepreneurs as well as existing small businesses, take a look at these video modules, we'll also have some very entrepreneurial-minded social enterprising individuals who will want to take a look at this. What can you tell them about the protection of, say, for instance, a non-for-profit organization as it relates to the liability piece?
I think from a nonprofit standpoint, company, it would be the same. I think that the situation would be what you're trying to do is to provide protection for your business in the eventuality that either someone comes on the premises, let's say, and gets injured, or if based on the service that you provide or product that you produce.
Or the misbehaving of a board member?
Correct, yes. that certainly would come in. then you would need to have some type of insurance to protect that interest so that it would protect your assets of the business in that event.
So what you're talking about now is directors and officers insurance? Then?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. We're going to stop right here, but we'll come back pretty shortly. Thank you so much. Take care.